is a hidden power in silence. Every step you take without noise, without distraction, without the need to prove yourself, strengthens the foundation of your spirit. In silence, time reveals its true nature. You stop wasting it, and you begin to master it. When the world pulls you in every direction, silence is where you return to yourself. It is the ground where clarity grows. When the day begins, most people rush into it without thought, carried by the noise of alarms, pull of tasks, the demands waiting to be answered. The way you begin your morning is not just the start of the day. It is the seed from which the entire day grows. If the seed is planted in chaos, the day grows into chaos. If the seed is planted in silence, the day grows into strength. Is why beginning your day with stillness is the first and most powerful step to mastering your time and strengthening your spirit. Silence in the morning is not weakness, it is discipline. It is the conscious choice to pause before the world claims you. The moment you open your eyes, you have a choice. Do you rush into noise or do you step into stillness? Those first minutes determine whether you will be the master of your time or the servant of your distractions. When you choose stillness, you align yourself with clarity. You give yourself the space to remember what matters before you are pulled in 100 directions. Think of it this way: a warrior does not rush blindly into battle. He prepares his mind, steadies his breath, sharpens his focus. In the same way, you must prepare your spirit before stepping into the demands of the day. Stillness is your preparation. It clears away the fog of sleep and the burden of yesterday. It allows your mind to settle, your emotions to calm, and your body to breathe into the present moment. When you wake and sit in silence, even if only for a few minutes, you are not losing time, you are multiplying it. Those minutes spent in stillness will save you hours of wasted energy. Without stillness, you become reactive, tossed by every demand, answering without wisdom, moving without direction. With stillness, you become steady. Your actions are precise, your words carry weight, and your steps move you forward without waste. Stillness does not mean emptiness. It is the space where your intentions are planted. In silence, you ask yourself, what is important today? What deserves my attention? What can I release? When you know the answers, time stops slipping through your hands. You are no longer chasing after everything. You are walking with purpose. The strength of the morning silence carries into every step you take afterward. It is like laying down a strong foundation before building a house. Without that foundation, the house will crumble no matter how beautiful it looks. But with it, every wall stands firm. In the same way, stillness anchors your time so that every task, every decision, every conversation rests on solid ground. When you honor silence in the morning, you also honor your own spirit. You remind yourself that you are not just a machine built to work, to respond, to rush. You are a living being with depth, with purpose, with the need to grow. The spirit cannot grow in constant noise. It grows in the space where you hear your own breath, where you notice the beat of your heart, where you sense that life itself is a gift. Begin your day with stillness, and you will walk through the hours with strength. Even when the world becomes noisy, the silence of the morning will remain inside you, guiding your steps, sharpening your focus, protecting your time. Every day becomes not just another routine, but a deliberate journey. And that journey, step by step, strengthens your spirit. Time is not truly stolen by the great crisis of life. It slips away quietly in the small, unnoticed distractions that we allow to fill our days. A message here, a moment of scrolling there, an endless stream of noise that demands attention but gives back nothing of value. At the end of the day, you feel drained, yet you cannot remember where your hours went. This is the tragedy of a life filled with the unnecessary. To maximize your time, you must learn to cut away what does not serve you. This is not only a discipline of action, but a discipline of spirit. Imagine carrying a heavy bag on a long journey. Every stone you place inside slows you down, weakens your steps, and makes the path harder. Unnecessary things in your life are those stones. They may look small at first, but together they weigh you down. The journey of life is not meant to be walked with such weight. Freedom is found not in adding more, but in releasing what is not essential. Cutting away the unnecessary does not mean rejecting joy or denying beauty. It means being honest about what truly matters. Ask yourself, this habit strengthen me or weaken me? Does this choice bring me closer to my purpose or pull me further away? Does this task honor my time or waste it? Each answer shapes the way you live. When you learn to let go, you begin to move through life with lightness, with focus, with clarity. Many people confuse busyness with productivity. They fill their hours with constant activity, but they achieve nothing that nourishes their spirit. Time is not measured by how much you do, by how deeply you give yourself to what is worthy. A single moment of focused effort is worth more than a day of scattered action. Cutting away the unnecessary means that every action, no matter how small, carries purpose. It is not the amount of movement, the direction that defines your progress. There is a deep peace that comes when you remove the noise. Your mind becomes sharper, your body more rested, your spirit more alive. You begin to hear the silence beneath the noise, the calm beneath the chaos. In that calm, you find wisdom. You recognize which relationships nourish you and which drain you. You see which commitments are true and which are hollow. You stop saying yes to everything and you begin saying yes only to what matters most. Time, once scattered, begins to gather itself around your purpose. You notice that you can do more with less. You no longer chase after every opportunity or respond to every call. Instead, you create space for focus, space for creativity, space for rest, space for the spirit to grow. This space is not emptiness, it is power. It is the place where you can pour your energy fully without being pulled apart by endless distractions. When you cut away the unnecessary, you are not losing anything. You are gaining yourself back. You are reclaiming your time, your focus, your strength. The hours of your day no longer belong to the demands of others or to the endless pull of meaningless activity. They belong to you. They are invested in what truly matters. This is how time is maximized, not by adding more, but by removing what does not belong. Life is short, but it becomes even shorter when filled with what is empty. Refuse to waste it. Refuse to carry stones that do not belong to you. Walk lightly, walk clearly, walk with intention. Every step free of the unnecessary becomes a step of strength, a step of freedom, a step that honors the spirit within you. Most people move through life as if speed were the measure of success. They rush from one task to another, never pausing to breathe, never pausing to feel the ground beneath their feet. Rushing does not make life richer. It only makes life blur. The truth is, the faster you move without intention, the more time you lose. The slower you move with awareness, the more time expands before you. To walk slowly but with intention is not laziness. It is mastery. Every step you take carries weight. If you walk quickly without thought, you miss the beauty, you miss the lesson, you miss the strength hidden in that step. But when you walk with awareness, when each movement is guided by clarity, you begin to feel the depth of life itself. Slowness reveals what rushing hides. You notice the small details that sharpen your understanding. You give yourself the chance to listen, to observe, to grow. Walking slowly does not mean doing less. It means doing with purpose. Imagine a craftsman shaping wood. If he hurries, the cut is jagged, the surface rough, and the work loses its strength. If he moves with patience and care, the piece becomes a work of art. Your life is no different. If you rush, your days become scattered. If you walk with intention, your days become artful, meaningful, and strong. In silence, slowness becomes a teacher. You begin to see that each moment is complete. You do not need to hurry to the next moment because this one already holds what you need. Rushing is born of fear, the fear of not having enough time, the fear of being left behind. But intention is born of strength, is the choice to give yourself fully to the present moment, knowing that this is where your spirit grows. When you slow down, you begin to see where you are truly going. Many people run quickly, but in the wrong direction. They arrive at the end of their path, only to realize it was not the destination they wanted. What use is speed if it carries you away from your purpose? Better to move slowly with intention and arrive at the right place, to run blindly and lose yourself. Walking slowly with intention also honors your body and your mind. It protects you from exhaustion, allows your energy to be steady, not burned out in constant haste. It gives your spirit space to breathe, space to align, space to grow stronger. Intention is not about how much you do in a day, but how deeply you live within each moment. Single step taken with full awareness is more powerful than 100 steps taken without thought. There is a discipline required in this. World glorifies speed, and you will be tempted to move as fast as everyone else. But strength is not found in following the crowd. Strength is found in mastering your own pace, in moving according to your own clarity. The silence within you will guide your rhythm. It will teach you when to move forward and when to pause, when to speak and when to remain still, when to act and when to wait. Time itself changes when you walk with intention. A day no longer feels like it is rushing past you. Instead, it stretches, opening space for focus, for meaning, for joy. You do not chase after life, you live it. You do not waste your time in haste. You maximize it in clarity. The spirit grows not in rushing, but in steady, mindful steps. Walk slowly, walk with purpose. Every step will carry the strength of a lifetime. There is a wisdom that only comes to those who know how to listen. The world is filled with voices, each one eager to be heard, each one rushing to speak. But in the noise of constant words, truth becomes faint and understanding is lost. To listen more and speak less is not silence for the sake of silence. It is silence that creates depth. It is the discipline of holding your tongue so your ears may open, and through that opening, your spirit grows stronger. Every time you choose to listen instead of rushing to respond, you save time. You avoid misunderstandings, you prevent conflict, you learn what would otherwise remain hidden. Words spoken without thought scatter like leaves in the wind. But silence listens carefully, gathers wisdom, and then speaks with precision. One word spoken from silence carries more power than 1,000 words spoken from haste. Listening is more than hearing sound. It is giving full attention, emptying yourself of judgment, of the need to interrupt, of the desire to prove. It is creating space for the other person, the situation, or even life itself to reveal its truth. This space is where wisdom lives. Most people are not really listening when others speak. They are waiting for their chance to reply. But when you listen with your whole being, you not only understand others, you also understand yourself. In silence, you begin to hear what is not said. The pauses, the hesitations, tone, the unspoken feelings beneath the words. This kind of listening saves time because it brings clarity. You no longer need to guess or argue endlessly. You perceive directly. You see through the surface into the heart of the matter. This is the gift of listening. It gives you access to truth without the clutter of unnecessary words. Speaking less does not mean withholding truth when it is needed. It means choosing your words carefully, so that when you do speak, carry weight. A person who speaks constantly is rarely heard. A person who speaks rarely but with wisdom is remembered. Words are like arrows. If you release too many without aim, they scatter everywhere and hit nothing. But if you release only a few, each one aimed with intention, they reach their target. The discipline of listening is also the discipline of patience. When you are silent, your mind may resist, wants to rush ahead, to fill the gap, to demand attention. But if you wait, if you breathe, if you resist the urge to speak, something deeper emerges. You hear not just with your ears, but with your spirit. You begin to notice the lessons life is offering in every moment. The whisper of the wind, the stillness between heartbeats, quiet voice of your own intuition. This practice transforms your relationships. People feel valued when you listen. They open themselves, trust you. They reveal truths they would not reveal to those who only speak. Listening builds bridges that endless talking can never build. In this way, you not only maximize your own time, but you honor the time of others. Conversations become shorter, clearer, more meaningful. Misunderstandings dissolve because you hear before you judge, you understand before you reply. Silence is not emptiness. It is the container where wisdom gathers. Speaking less does not diminish you, it refines you. It teaches you that your strength is not in the volume of your words, but in the depth of your understanding. When you listen more, you become like still water that reflects clearly. When you speak less, your words become like stones thrown into that water, each one sending ripples that reach far. Time is multiplied in silence. Wisdom is deepened in listening. Power is concentrated in fewer words. Listen more, speak less, and you will discover that silence itself is a language, one that strengthens the spirit far more than constant talking ever could. Focus is the sharpest tool you possess, and yet it is the tool most often left unprotected. Each day, countless distractions reach for it. Messages, noise, endless tasks. The constant pull of things that seem urgent but hold no true importance. When your focus is scattered, your time is wasted. When your focus is guarded, your time multiplies. This is why focus must be treated as a treasure, something rare and precious, something worth protecting with all your strength. Your mind is like a beam of light. When scattered, the light illuminates little. It touches many things but penetrates nothing. But when concentrated, it becomes powerful, like the sun passing through a magnifying glass, able to set fire to what it touches. So it is with focus. The same hours, the same energy, same effort can either be wasted in fragments or harnessed in one direction to create impact. The choice is yours. It is decided by how fiercely you guard your attention. Guarding focus begins with awareness. You must first recognize how easily it is stolen. Every small distraction may seem harmless, but each one steals a piece of your strength. Single interruption can take minutes for your mind to recover. Day after day, those minutes accumulate into hours, and those hours into years. To allow distractions free access to your mind is to leave your treasure chest open on the street, inviting thieves to take what they please. Discipline of guarding focus requires boundaries. You must decide when to open yourself to the world and when to close the door. You must learn to say no to the unimportant, to turn away from the constant noise, to create spaces where your attention belongs fully to the task at hand. Focus cannot survive in an environment of constant interruption. Thrives only in silence, in clarity, in intentional solitude. But guarding focus is not only about shutting out distractions. It is also about directing your energy with precision. Many people guard their time, but waste it on the wrong pursuits. Focus is not just protection, it is aim. To guard your focus means to ask yourself, what deserves my full attention today? What done with my whole being? will move me closer to my purpose? The answer to this question decides whether your day is spent wisely or lost forever. When you protect and direct your focus, you begin to experience the depth of time. What once took hours can be completed in minutes. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. You discover that productivity is not about how much you do, but about how undivided you are while doing it. One task completed with full presence has more value than 10 tasks half finished in distraction. This discipline strengthens your spirit because it demands self-control. You must resist the urge to scatter yourself. You must choose silence over noise, depth over surface, quality over quantity. In doing so, you train your spirit to remain steady in a world that constantly pulls you apart. You become unshakable, anchored, able to give yourself fully to whatever you decide is worthy of your energy. Focus is not infinite. Each day, you are given only so much attention to spend, just as you are given only so much time. If you waste it on what is shallow, day is gone and cannot be recovered. But if you guard it as a treasure, investing it only in what matters most, you discover that your life becomes clear, purposeful, powerful. Guard your focus and your spirit will grow strong. Guard your focus and time itself will bend to your command. Waiting is one of the great tests of the spirit. Most people despise it. They see waiting as wasted time, as an obstacle between where they are and where they want to be. They grow restless, impatient, distracted, desperate to fill the silence with anything that will make the minutes pass faster. But waiting does not have to be wasted. Waiting, when embraced with awareness, becomes a practice, a teacher, a silent discipline that strengthens the spirit and maximizes time. Life is filled with moments of waiting, waiting for an answer, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for change, waiting in lines, waiting in traffic, waiting for the right season to arrive. You cannot escape these moments. They will come whether you resist them or not. Question is not whether you will wait, but how you will wait. If you resist, the time is lost. If you embrace it as practice, the time is transformed. Waiting is not empty. It is the space between breaths, the pause between movements, the stillness between two moments of action. This space can either be wasted in frustration or used as fuel for growth. When you practice waiting in silence, you strengthen patience. Patience is not weakness. It is controlled strength, ability to hold steady when everything in you wants to rush ahead. The impatient spirit is restless and fragile. Patient spirit is steady and unbreakable. Every pause in life can become practice for presence. Instead of filling the silence with noise, you can choose to breathe deeply, to listen inwardly, to notice the life that surrounds you. In waiting, the world slows down. Details that are hidden in haste reveal themselves. You begin to see clearly, to hear clearly, to think clearly. What most people rush past, you learn to observe. What most people ignore, you learn to value. Turning waiting into practice also transforms your relationship with time. Time no longer feels like an enemy you must fight against. It becomes a companion, a teacher, even a friend. Each moment of waiting teaches you that not everything must happen now. Growth takes time. Seeds take time to sprout. Strength takes time to build. Wisdom takes time to ripen. By practicing patience in small moments of waiting, you prepare your spirit for the greater weights of life. When you use waiting as practice, you discover a hidden power. You realize you are never truly powerless, even when circumstances force you to be still. You may not control the situation, but you always control how you respond. You can choose rest over restlessness, calm over anxiety, silence over noise. In that choice, your spirit grows stronger. The external world may demand you wait, but the internal world becomes a place of freedom where every moment is purposeful. Waiting also sharpens focus. In silence, you are able to reflect on what truly matters, to refine your direction, to release what no longer serves you. How many mistakes in life come from rushing forward without clarity? How many regrets are born because we could not pause long enough to see the truth? Waiting saves you from such waste. It slows you down just enough to protect you from walking blindly. To turn waiting into practice is to understand that no time is useless. Every pause can become growth. Every silence can become strength. You do not need to fear delays, you can use them. You do not need to resent pauses, you can transform them. Time is not lost to the one who practices presence. Time is multiplied, deepened, purified. When you learn to wait in silence, you do not just pass through time. Time itself begins to pass through you, shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you for what is to come. There is a rhythm to life that many ignore, a balance between effort and stillness, between pouring out and being filled again. Most people push themselves endlessly in shallow work, never giving their full attention to anything, scattering their energy across many tasks. And when they rest shallowly as well, distracted by noise, half present, never truly renewing their strength. This cycle drains the spirit, wastes time, and leaves life without depth. To live with strength, you must learn the art of working deep and resting deep. When you work deep, you give yourself fully to the task before you. Your attention is undivided, your mind anchored, your spirit present. In this state, time stretches. Progress comes not from rushing, but from immersion. What might take hours, when done half-heartedly, can be completed in a fraction of the time when done with full presence. Depth of work is not about doing more. It is about being fully alive in what you do. But depth cannot survive without balance. After pouring yourself into deep work, the spirit requires deep rest. Many people think rest is simply the absence of labor. True rest is active renewal. It is the silence that allows the soil of your mind to recover, the pause that restores your focus, the stillness that strengthens your body and spirit. Resting deeply means stepping away completely, not carrying your work with you in thoughts and worries, but allowing yourself to return to stillness, to breathe, to be whole again. Work and rest are not enemies, they are partners. One without the other leads to imbalance. Work without rest leads to exhaustion, dullness, and loss of clarity. Rest without work leads to weakness, stagnation, and loss of purpose. But when the two flow together, when you give yourself wholly to both, life becomes powerful and time becomes maximized. Every hour of focused effort is balanced by every hour of true renewal, and together they create a cycle of strength. To work deep requires discipline. It demands that you cut away distractions, silence the noise, and guard your focus. You must train yourself to enter into the task like a diver entering the ocean, going beneath the surface to reach the depths where treasures lie. Shallow work keeps you at the surface, where you skim across the water but never discover what lies beneath. Deep work, however, reveals hidden wisdom, lasting results, and true mastery. To rest deep also requires discipline. It is not as simple as sitting idly or escaping into shallow entertainment. True rest requires intention. It may come in the form of silence, meditation, reflection, time in nature, or stillness with yourself. It is a practice of returning to the inner ground where your spirit is restored. Without this, your rest will be shallow, and your body may be still, but your spirit will remain restless. When you practice this rhythm, you will notice how much more time you seem to have. Hours are no longer wasted in half effort or half rest. You become efficient without being rushed, strong without being drained, present without being overwhelmed. Deep work produces results that last, and deep rest gives you the strength to continue. Together, they create a life of clarity, balance, and purpose. Time is precious. And how you spend it determines the strength of your spirit. If you scatter your effort and your rest, you scatter your life. If you give yourself fully, both in labor and in renewal, you find that life itself becomes deeper. Work with your whole being. Rest with your whole being. In this balance, your spirit is strengthened and your time becomes a path of wisdom and power. The way you close your day is just as important as the way you begin it. Most people collapse into the night without pause, carrying the weight of unfinished thoughts, unresolved emotions, and unexamined actions. They rush into sleep without reflection, and as a result, the lessons of the day are lost, the clarity that could have been gained slips away, and the spirit remains restless. To end your day with reflection is to honor the time you have been given and to prepare the ground for the time yet to come. Reflection is the act of turning inward, of looking honestly at yourself and the hours that have passed. It is not judgment, not punishment. Clarity. It is asking yourself, how did I walk today? Did I waste my time or did I use it with intention? Did I speak words that strengthened or words that scattered? Did I listen with presence or did I rush past the truth? Did I give myself fully to the tasks or did I let distractions weaken me? These questions are not meant to condemn you, but to guide you. They shine a light on the path you have walked so that tomorrow you may walk more clearly. When you reflect, you gather the lessons of the day. Every mistake becomes a teacher. Every success becomes encouragement. Every challenge becomes wisdom stored in your spirit. Without reflection, days blur together. You may live many years, but never truly grow. With reflection, even a single day can deepen your understanding and strengthen your character. One day lived with awareness is worth more than 100 lived without thought. Reflection also frees you. Many people carry the weight of the day into their sleep, their minds restless, their hearts unsettled. But when you pause to reflect, you release what no longer serves you. You forgive yourself for where you fell short. You let go of the frustrations that burden you, and you place the day in silence, knowing it is complete. In this way, sleep becomes peaceful and the spirit is renewed. To end the day with reflection is also to honor gratitude. In stillness, you remember what was given to you, the breath you took, strength you had, the people who crossed your path, the opportunities, even the challenges that shaped you. Gratitude softens the heart and clears the mind. It teaches you that even in difficulty, life continues to give, and even in struggle, there is meaning. This gratitude transforms how you see your time. No day is wasted when it is ended with thankfulness. Reflection is not about the length of time you spend, but the depth of your presence. Even a few quiet minutes before sleep can change everything. You sit in silence, you breathe, you look honestly within, and you close the day with awareness. This practice strengthens your spirit because it teaches you discipline, humility, and wisdom. You no longer move blindly through your days. You move with eyes open, learning, growing, preparing. Each night becomes a closing of the circle. You began the day in silence, and now you end it in silence. This rhythm builds strength, for it honors the cycle of life itself. Beginning, living, ending, and beginning again. To live with reflection is to ensure that no moment is wasted, that no time passes without meaning, that no day ends without wisdom gained. When you learn to end your day with reflection, your spirit rests in peace, your mind clears, and your time is multiplied. You wake not as someone carrying yesterday's burdens, but as someone ready to begin again, lighter, clearer, stronger. This is the gift of reflection. It transforms endings into beginnings, and it turns every day into a step of growth for the spirit. Every moment of silence strengthens your spirit. Every choice of discipline multiplies your time. Every act of awareness turns ordinary days into extraordinary lessons. Life will always offer distractions. Time belongs to those who walk with clarity, not haste. When you begin in silence, move with focus, and end with reflection, you master not only your hours, but yourself. The true power is not found in doing more, but in living each moment with intention. And when your spirit is strong, your time becomes limitless.